The last message my father ever sent me wasn't a text. It was a crate of unmarked, experimental weapon parts, delivered to my scrapyard with a single word sharpied on the lid. Run. I was elbow-deep in the guts of a malfunctioning service droid when the delivery drone buzzed overhead, dropping its payload with a heavy, metallic clang that echoed through the junkyard canyon. Kalen's Scrap and Salvage was the last stop for tech in the rain-slicked, neon-drenched city of Viridian, a place where things were forgotten. I was its unofficial queen. "What in the 7 sectors is that, Rye?" My assistant, Pip, nudged the crate with his boot. He was all sharp angles and sharper wit, a street kid who'd adopted my junkyard as his own. I wiped grease on my coveralls and pried the lid open. Inside, nestled in military-grade foam, were components I'd never seen before. Not standard militia issue, not corporate security. This was something else. The carbon scoring on some of the pieces indicated they'd seen recent, violent use. And on the inside of the lid, that one frantic command: run. My blood went cold. My father, Eris, was a lead engineer for OmniCorp, the gargantuan entity that owned Viridian lock, stock, and soul. He was a company man through and through, a believer in their mission of progress through order. We hadn't spoken in 2 years, not since I'd dropped out of the OmniCorp engineering program, calling it a gilded cage. He'd called me a wasted talent. He wouldn't send me a message. He wouldn't send me anything, unless he was in desperate, world-ending trouble. Pip locked the main gate, full perimeter scan, now. He didn't question me. He saw the look on my face. As he ran to the control shed, I pulled out my datapad, my fingers flying as I tried to ping my father's private channel. Nothing. Not even a dead signal echo. It was as if he'd been wiped from the network entirely. The first sign of trouble was the lights. All the flickering neon and holographic ads that illuminated the junkyard's perimeter flickered and died, plunging us into an eerie silence broken only by the ever-present drip of acidic rain. The hum of the city beyond the fences vanished. They'd cut the power grid. A full-sector blackout was a military-level action. "Rye," Pip's voice crackled over the old hardline comm. "I've got 4 aerial signatures on thermal, no transponders, silent running. They're not ours." OmniCorp security. It had to be. They'd tracked the crate. "Get to the panic room. Don't come out until I give the all-clear," I ordered, my voice tighter than I wanted. But now, Pip. I didn't have weapons, I had junk, and a lifetime of knowing how to make junk do things it was never designed to do. My heart hammered against my ribs, a frantic drumbeat of fear. Run. But this junkyard was my life. It was all I had built for myself. I wasn't running. The drones descended silently, black teardrop shapes against the bruised purple sky. They fanned out, scanning, looking for the crate, looking for me. "Think, Rye. You're not an engineer, you're a scrapper. Use what you have." I had a half-dismantled construction mech, 3 stories tall and missing an arm. I had a stack of old magrail batteries, unstable and leaking energy. And I had a whole lot of anger. I scrambled up the mech's leg, my fingers finding familiar holds in its rusted hull. I hauled myself into the open cockpit, the old leather seat groaning under my weight. The systems were dead, but the manual release for the hydraulic piston in its one good arm was. I yanked the lever, and the massive piston shot forward with a deafening hiss, smashing into the lead drone, sending it spinning into a tower of compressed car frames with a spectacular crash of rending metal. The other 3 drones whirred, targeting lasers painting red dots across the cockpit glass. I was a sitting duck. I slid down the mech's back, hitting the wet ground running. The lasers tracked me. I dove behind the stack of magrail batteries just as plasma bolts sizzled through the air where I'd been standing, superheating the rain into steam. The batteries, highly volatile, a terrible shield but a fantastic bomb. I grabbed a heavy wrench from my belt and slammed it against the weakest-looking battery. A shower of sparks erupted. I didn't wait to see the result. I turned and ran flat out for a reinforced drainage culvert. The explosion behind me was a physical force, a wave of heat and concussive sound that lifted me off my feet and threw me into the muddy ground. The world went white, then dark, the sound replaced by a high-pitched ringing. I rolled over, my ears bleeding, to see a fireball climbing into the sky, consuming 2 of the drones. The third, damaged and smoking, veered away and retreated into the night. Silence returned, heavier than before, broken by the crackle of flames. They'd come for the crate. They'd try again with more force. I had to know why. Pip found me minutes later, helping me to my feet. "You blew up the West Yard," he said, his voice full of awe and terror. "I'll bill them," I croaked, my throat raw from smoke. "Help me get the crate to the workshop. We need to see what's so important." Inside my fortified workshop, under the glow of emergency lights, we laid out the components. It was a weapon, but unlike any I'd seen. The core was a strange, crystalline power source that hummed with an almost organic energy. The housing around it wasn't for projectiles or plasma. It was a complex array of emitters and waveguides. "It's not a blaster," Pip murmured, running a scanner over it. "The energy signature, it's reading like a focused EMP, but way more powerful. And weird." I picked up a data chip that had been tucked into the foam. I slotted it into an isolated terminal. It wasn't encrypted. It was a final testament. My father's face flickered to life on the screen. He looked decades older, his eyes hollow with fear. "Rye, if you're seeing this, I've failed. They know. Omnicorp, it's not what we thought. The progress, it's a lie." He took a shuddering breath. "We developed a weapon codenamed the Silencer. It doesn't destroy cities, it's worse. It targets and permanently neutralizes specific neural patterns, free thought, dissent, creativity. They plan to use it on the entire city. A clean conquest. No rubble, just obedient husks." The video glitched. "I stole the core and the schematics. They're the only ones. Without this, they can't mass-produce it. You have to destroy it. Don't try to be a hero, just destroy it and run. They will burn the world to find this. I'm so sorry, Rye. I should have listened to you. I'm so..." The transmission cut off abruptly. I sat back, my hands trembling. The weight of it was crushing. This wasn't a personal debt. This was the future of millions of minds. Pip looked at me, his face pale. "We have to smash it, now, before they come back." I looked at the components on the table. The beautiful, terrifying engineering. My father's life's work, his greatest sin, and his final redemption, delivered into my hands. "Run," that's what he'd said. But I looked at Pip. I thought of the chaotic, vibrant, flawed people of Viridian. Their messy, brilliant free wills. I thought of my father, who'd finally seen the cage for what it was. I made my decision. "No," I said, my voice steady for the first time that night. "We're not destroying it." Pip stared at me in horror. "What? Rye, did you not just hear him? This is nightmare fuel." "He also said it was the only one," I said, a dangerous idea forming in my mind. "Which means Omnicorp doesn't have the schematics anymore. They have the theory, but not the key. They'll be desperate to get it back. They'll be looking for a weapon to reclaim." I picked up the crystalline core. It pulsed with a soft, blue light. "But what if they find a different weapon?" I continued, a fierce grin spreading across my face. "What if the great, all-powerful Omnicorp gets hit with its own nightmare? What if we turn the Silencer into a broadcaster?" Pip's eyes widened as he understood. "A broadcast of what?" "The truth," I said. "Everything my father just told us. The plans for their weapon. Broadcast on its own unique frequency, right into the skull of every executive, every security officer, every citizen in their network. We don't hide the truth. We give it to everyone, all at once." It was insane, impossible, suicide. But it was also the most beautiful piece of engineering I'd ever conceived. "We're not scrappers tonight, Pip," I said, grabbing a plasma torch. "We're engineers. And we're going to take this cage apart and use the pieces to set this whole city free." The rain continued to fall outside, but now it felt like it was washing the world clean. We had a purpose. We had a weapon. And we were absolutely, definitely not running.